Hello. Hi, everyone. Is this all working okay? I can see things bouncing, hopefully. All of my audio and stuff is working. Marty's down there in the corner. He's not quite sized right. Hopefully the chat will start working as we go on. I'm a little bit rusty. It feels like it's been a long time. It's been like 2 weeks or something since I was recording the top 10s. It feels like ages. But hey, how's everything going? Hope you had good holidays. Hope you enjoyed the last couple of weeks or so. I don't know why I'm trying to drink this. It'll be far, far too hot. It's because I want to drink, is why I'm drinking it, of course. But yeah, I'm just rambling about stuff. So yes, it's 2022. There's been a December. It's just finished. Let's talk about things that happen in December. Things that might happen in January. Lots of really exciting things. I know I say that every month, but hey, I'm excited about the things. And yeah, talk a little bit about some of the stuff of 2021 overall as well. I mentioned this a little bit in a Patreon post, but hey, I thought about doing like a top 10 most anticipated games. I will do that, but in the future, next week or something, because I spent my couple of hours I had to prepare for this doing calculations and things that probably didn't need doing. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Hi, Michael. Hi, Steve. How's it going? I hope you're having good days. So yes, December and stuff. So yeah, I feel pretty good being, in front of OBS and stuff again. It feels like it's been ages. I know I've said that. But yeah, I've had a bit of a break away from it all as well. Apart from editing those top 10s, which I hope you enjoyed, the 2021 top 10s. Hey, I got this triangle thing. I don't know why it's triangles, but it's a background, isn't it? Something's going on. I don't think the chat's working, is it? It's not coming up. Oh, I've got it hidden? I may have it hidden. Okay. The chat box might not work in this stream. We'll get it all back to normal for the other streams. There's some really good stuff going on this week anyway. So let's first of all talk about December things, of which like I always think, we'll get onto this a little bit later, but I always think I haven't done enough. There's hardly been anything this month. And then when you look back on it, well, there's been a lot of stuff. But hey, Michael, I'm glad you like the triangles, and I'm glad that the chat is working. It's cool, isn't it? Rachel's reaction to what do you think about this thing that this took hours to make. Like, if you know how to do like fusion and stuff, I'm sure that this is nothing and would take you seconds. But I don't know all of these things. You have to just watch continuous YouTube tutorials about things. Hi, Genway, how's it going? Marty will say hi at some point, hopefully. He's nice and zonked out. Well, he hasn't been up here for a couple of weeks either. I think there's been a couple of times he's been, under the desk in his little burrow, but generally I've not been in here as much. If I'm not streaming or playing a game on my computer, which I haven't been lately, then I'm downstairs and Marty follows you around. Not that that's a bad thing, but yes. So yeah, I'm glad you like the triangles. They'll stay about. Hey Sky Roger, how's it going? Thanks for joining. What was I going on about? Yes, December. So the things of December. You might have seen these, but this is just in case you missed any and they sound interesting to you. These are the things that I did in December. Or we did, because Role Player Adventures will come up a few times. We have been going through a full campaign of Role Player Adventures. We did a couple, bit off stream to kind of learn the game, and we weren't going to play the whole thing on stream. I usually just record a playthrough and that's that. But one of the things that I'll say about 2021, campaign games playing in the background and sometimes on stream, I really like having an ongoing thing. All of the other stuff happened as it would have anyway, all of the normal playthroughs, but as an extra thing, I've really enjoyed having some ongoing stuff. I know that, if you're not into role-player adventures, or you don't want it spoiled or something, then you're not going to want, like, 11 episodes of it. But, hey, for the people that are still hanging in there, I hope you're enjoying it, because we're really enjoying playing through it and finding out what happens to our characters, because we don't seem to have a set role-playing thing going on. We seem to be fluctuating depending on the mood that we're in that day. Hey Joel, how's it going? Marty will wake up for no one. Hey B-Fisk. Oh, you got Welcome to the Moon. Oh, brilliant. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I have only played those first 4, did I do? I might have only done 2 on stream actually. I've only played the first 4 adventures of it so far, but that's another one I'd like to have ongoing videos for everything. I'd like to be more time in general in life to just keep doing these things. But I'm really glad you're enjoying it. It's one of my favorite games of last year. And definitely, since it's like it's kind of 8 Welcome to games crammed together. So yeah, it's my favorite of the Welcome to series for sure. What else to do? So we've got role player adventures. You can watch all of this stuff. Anything that we do live, you can watch it back later on the channel. Hadrian's Wall is another thing I've been ongoing with, but a little bit slow with. And yeah, I'm only up to Fort 4. So Hadrian's Wall, another one of my favourites from last year. A fantastic roll and write. Another roll and write, but on kind of a great big scale. It might look like a great big spreadsheet, but it's a really amazing game. And after the game released, the designer, the publisher, came out with an ongoing campaign where you can play, tweaked rules, like things are more expensive this time and you need to build all of these things and get this score to win this particular campaign, and then an extra challenge. If you do this, you get some rewards for next time. I've been working my way through and finally got to Fort 4. We will definitely have at least one this month and keep that campaign going, because yeah, Hadrian's Wall's amazing. Oh, Michael, you got Last Will. Oh, I'm really pleased about that as well, because yeah, I had been kind of trying to push Last Will onto the voters to, like, hey, do you want to play through this old game? Like, never mind all of these new releases. Let's have a look at Last Will. And finally, it got voted for. And yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Vladimir Suchy now, not that he ever wasn't appreciated. His games were lauded a lot, I think. But now that he's kind of doing one a year, and they, at least from me, keep getting really acclaimed, like Praga and Underwater Cities and Messina, co-designed. Yeah, like it's time to look back at some of these games and say that he was always designing amazing things. With CG generally, those ones. But yeah, I hope you really enjoy Last Will, because the expansion's great, but just the base game and the base idea. And then if you really like Last Will, there's a game called Prodigal's Club that I'll put in a future vote. Maybe we'll do a playthrough of this one time. Prodigal's Club is a similar idea, but you're a club of kind of reckless rich people, and you're in these different activities. It's got all these modules you can plug into the game to have a different game every time. But one of the things that you can do is plug Last Will, the whole game, as a module in the Prodigals Club, and I've never done that, so I'd really, really like to do that. And if you've ever seen like the pictures of Paul Grogan looking old-timey and in his top hat, that's when he was promoting Prodigals Club. That's my first image of Paul Grogan, and it's never shaken. That's how I think of him. Oh yes, thanks Joel. Please subscribe and like the video, and all of those things really help out. But if you'd like to help me make more things, patreon.com/slickerdrips. Oh, it's mirror image, isn't it? It's where you can go to help out. Every little helps. Please join up. We'd love to have you there. You can join the Discord and vote on videos and all sorts of things. And there's going to be even more votes this year, because top 10s are going to come back. Yeah, if you'd just like to give us a tip, haven't got the hang around this mirror thing, have I? Kofi.com/slickerdrips is a great space as well. Yeah, I think, like, I hadn't really thought about that, because I don't really see things in that way. Yeah, it kind of does look like a spreadsheet, but yeah, the theme doesn't matter as much to me as it does to look. By the way, if you want to see, like, I was on the Gaming Rules channel with the Broken Meeple and Not Bored Gaming, and we did a kind of looking back at highlights of gaming 2021 video. You can see that on Paul's channel. But yeah, one of the things he said is, it looks like a great big spreadsheet. There are just a load of boxes there, but they're, as in pretty much all roll and writes. Yeah, that's how the sheets are. It's just that this is a great big roll and write, so there are a lot of boxes everywhere. But it kind of does look like that, I guess. But the main thing to take away from it is that Hadrian's Wall is an amazing game, and one of the best of the year. Oh, Gemma, you're getting Riverside and Welcome to the Moon in the mail tomorrow. I'll play along with Riverside in the playthrough that I did. See if you can beat me. I bet you can. Yeah, I think Paul does try and claim in his videos, doesn't he, that he isn't constantly in a top and tails, but I think he is really. What else did we do? Iki. So moving off live, good old-fashioned edited playthrough. of Iki. We are trying to recruit these artisans on cards, level them up by having other people use them, and so that you get different sets for scoring at the end of the game. There's the risk of fire that will basically kill your artisans. That's a bit of a random element we weren't too fond of, but it's a really interesting, quite quick to learn, but quite tasty. I was going to say meaty, but it's not really a heavy game. Rondel game where you're trying to build sets of. There's loads of ways you can go. You can build up these artisans. You can get sets of sushi. You can go for these tobacco and pipe combinations that will give you points for other things. But yeah, if you are unlucky or maybe not wary enough of the fire, it can really punish you. You can see 2-player playthrough. Little Glass Marty playing against me in Iki. The side quest of role-player adventures as well as the main story. There is a side adventure you can go off on. So yeah, even if you don't want to be spoiled on the main story, you could watch the side quest to see what goes on there. I don't think generally we do too much referencing of other story points unless they come back in the title cards, which I don't think they do in the side quest. It's a bit more self-contained, as it would be being a side quest. But rate showing me for that. First Class is one that I did a playthrough for the month before, and another game from 2016, I think First Class is, that loved at the time, never did a playthrough for it. That's back in the really, really early days of channeling. But yeah, it did so well and got requested again for a solo playthrough. So I came back and did that with some different modules. So it's a fairly different game. But I did that live, so you can see how that works out. If you want to play it solo, it's not very much to learn. Well, basically nothing to learn. The game is very, very similar, but you can play it by yourself. Square in Circleville is a game from Spielworks, designed by Matt Wolf, where there is a town. There is Circleville, Ohio, which was built on this great big circular earthworks. So they decided to make the town circular as well, have all of the streets and everything circular, which sounds great, but someone was turned off that and they decided to square it. And this game is built off that, stranger than fiction thing that really happened, and we're trying to have the most influence in the different districts, and basically you're raising buildings and destroying old roads and then building new buildings and new roads as the city transforms, and you're trying to have the best stake in all of that. There's a nice action system where your actions build up over time. You pick from a rondel and take a disc from that rondel every time, and they build up your actions so that they are more powerful as you go along the game, and you can spend a complete row of those tokens to do a bonus action in it as well. It's very different and very cool. Square in Circleville. I did a solo playthrough of that, where as well there are 4 different solo personalities you can play against, and you can have up to 3 personalities in a game as well. So you can kind of simulate a 4-player game. I simulated a 3-player game in there. I was playing against 2 of the personalities. See if I won it. Keyper won the vote for December. Well, Keyper at Sea did. Keyper didn't come far behind, but a fantastic game. Another one from, where was Keyper? Was Keyper 2017? With its magical folding boards and kind of unique worker placement element to it, where people get to follow you, and then if you run out of workers first, you can lie down other people's workers that they've placed previously to get extra actions and things. So Keyper now has a solo mode. There was a Kickstarter campaign for the Keyper at Sea expansion, and one of the things that added was a solo mode for the base game and then the expansion by David Torsey, who does amazing games in his own right, but also provides pretty fantastic solo modes for games that he didn't design as well. So this was me trying to get to grips with that solo mode of the original Keyper, and there will be another video coming up very soon of me trying to do that with the expansion Keyper at Sea as well. But you can check out the base game there. Oh, Joel, you want to see me do the 1862 Railways solo playthrough? I haven't got that. I don't think I've done any kind of 18xx game at all. I don't think I've even come close to the kind of thing I've got. And this was it did middling in about a long time ago. I was trying to find this when I was on Paul's stream, and they were talking about, because Ricky Royals got really into 18xx in the last year, I think. Got 18 Lilliput, which I think is like a bit of a gateway 18xx kind of game. I got hold of that at some point last year, intending to do play it solo and see what that's like, but I never got around to it. But it's still here, waiting, just like everything. Like that's part of the thing that I'll talk about a little bit. That, yeah, it never feels like I'm doing enough, but I'm doing a lot. Maybe we'll get around to some 18xx at some point. It'll complete your conversion to the dark side. Maybe. It sounds like that, doesn't it? It sounds like one of those daunting things to get into. It's kind of like war games. Like, I don't think I've ever played anything that would be considered a proper war game, and I don't really know kind of what the criteria would be for that. But yeah, it's another one of those worlds that it seems like, oh, why haven't I played any of this? Right, next, Euthia, which is another one that will come back. Next month, there'll be another playthrough of Euthia as it comes back on Kickstarter for another great big expansion. Euthia is, don't be fooled by some of the visual similarities to Mage Knight in the maps and some of the tokens and things. This is a great big adventuring game where you take on the role of an adventurer with pretty basic abilities at the start, and through leveling up, getting these tiles on your player board, finding treasure through the maps, fighting enemies, you will gradually get better and better, progress onto the harder bits of the map. I know in some of the ways I'm describing that, it still sounds like Mage Knight, but it's not. It's not a deck building game. You don't have cards to do actions and that kind of thing. A lot of the actions are from the gear that you get, the abilities that you gain throughout the game, and so you can play it competitively. And I believe it was released under a different name as just a competitive game, but you can play it solo and cooperatively as well. And you can see this in action in the solo playthrough, where there is a fantastic card-based system to simulate another player, how they would use their cards, how they would use their dice, deciding whether to re-roll them and stuff. You still do all of your stuff normally, rolling dice and hoping it goes well, using your mitigation and all of that. But yeah, it's a great little system. That's, yeah, there's an app as well that will do that solo stuff for you that I'll probably show off next time. I wanted to show off, how the actual game works in the box. And I know some people don't want any apps involved in the games at all. This playthrough didn't use any of that, but I'll try and show that off next time. So you can see a great big 3-hour playthrough of the most basic scenario of Euthia. It's a game that comes with loads and loads of different ways of playing. You can play where you're just trying to get points, like in this, or there's a great big royal competition of fighting beasts at the very end. So you need to have built your characters up enough to be able to survive those battles and hope to have done the best in them. But yeah, Michael, you want to get your hands on Euthia? Well, it is. I think it is I'm not sure everywhere in the world, but at some point in November, it became available on Dire Games on their web store. I'm not sure if it's still in stock there, but if you can't get it anywhere now, it will be back on Kickstarter next month. Yeah, it's got similar. I'd never want to say that it's kind of a similar game because I don't think anything really gets close to Mage Knight in any way, really. Mage Knight is its own. Mage Knight is on an island of its own, and yeah, it's definitely taken some cues from it. But yeah, Euthia is a wildly different thing as well, in a very different way. Next up, we had Super Skill Pinball, the playthrough that led to mass unsubscriptions. It could have just been a coincidence. But yes, Super Skill Pinball is another one of my favourite games from last year. I know that particularly if you're in America, it came out the year before, but for me it didn't. And you've got a whole new box that I'm completely jealous about. But yeah, Super Skill Pinball, another one of my favourite roll and writes of all time, another one of my favourite games of last year. They released a print and play scenario, Christmas themed, and I printed it out and played it, and you can see that in action in that playthrough. I think I did. I think I gambled a bit too much. Well, I think I only did a little gamble, and it really didn't pay off for me. You can nudge, and if your next roll doesn't go well for you, you lose that ball, which can be a pretty big thing. But yeah, I did 2 playthroughs of it because the first one was a bit truncated because I flew too close to the sun. Hey, fruit-eating bear. I don't know why I couldn't say that then. Yeah, Super Skill Pinball is amazing. And hopefully, I think going by... When did... I ordered this off... I ordered the base game off of WizKid's website. And so, that was in the middle of lockdowns and stuff. Their warehouses were shut, took forever to finally make its way into England and then customs and all of that stuff. And by the time it had got here, I think the week before my copy arrived, it just came out in England anyway, so I should have just waited. So I think, was it like May, June, something? It made it over here. So I'm hoping, if the timeline's similar, maybe the new box, Ramp It Up, will make it here around then anyway. It's not like I'm short of stuff to play, but yeah, I'm dead keen to get onto Super Skill Pinball, Ramp It Up. Joel sees the bean. Yeah, that's going to be in the top 10 anticipated games for sure. Hey Paul. Oh yeah, you're doing an unboxing soon, aren't you? What are you unboxing? I can't remember. It's Polis? I don't know anything about Polis. I'm trying to remember. It sounds like you're trying to say police. Oh, you got second on pre-order. Oh, and it should have been here by now. Oh, so it might be quicker than I think then. I think I've got a game I'm excited. I don't know if it'll end up in the top 10, but a game I'm quite excited about that I think came out around Essen time in America. Vagrant Song is a great sounding cooperative game. You're like ghosts on a train fighting baddies and stuff, and it's a campaign-based thing. I've had that on pre-order for quite a while. That was supposed to come out, according to the site, around October. And yeah, it's still not here. It was one of my birthday presents. The floating triangles try their hardest, but they can never quite get to me. They're stuck in 2 dimensions. I'm in this dimension. Yeah, Mr. Top Hat and Tails is in the chat. Had it for about a year. Let's take the shrink off it. I've been missing out for like a year then. I'm not surprised that a lot of stuff passes me by. Tommy accidentally clicked it thinking it was the play icon. If I ever, I'll just have to freeze at random times to try and convince someone that they did that. So yeah, there was Pinball in that. More role-player adventures. I've got nothing more to say about it. I should have just grouped them into one entry, shouldn't I? There's more. There's 8 role-player adventures chapters you can go and watch at this point. Mini Rogue. So trying to emulate the roguelike genre of video games into a tiny card game. You can see this grid of cards, which is the floor of the dungeon that you're on. You see one card at the start. You resolve it. You can choose whether to go right or down. You don't know what's going to be there. You might just find treasure. You might be fighting monsters and stuff. A lot of using dice. There's some mitigation involved. There's some special powers and things, but obviously you're quite limited in this. And I played through just the normal game, but one of the key things, for me anyway, I don't know about full definitions of these genres and stuff, but in my limited experience with roguelike video games, the kind of key is it being incredibly difficult at the start, and through your kind of attempts and getting better mechanically at the game, you are also rewarded with some kind of ongoing points as you die. So they are put into experience that's put into abilities that will hopefully allow you to get further next time. And there is a campaign mode in Mini Rogue that you can only play solo. You can play the normal game with 1 or 2 players. But yeah, there is an ongoing thing where you can earn XP and have extra abilities as you go through there. So yeah, check out Mini Rogue. Concordia Solitaria, which I'm hoping there'll be some more of. Well, I'm not hoping. There will be some more of. I'm not even going to put it in the votes because, yeah, I would just override it. I got well back into Concordia from playing Solitaria and discovered there's a fish market, not a fruit market. There's a fish market involved in one of the maps and stuff, and there's like the top rated 2-player maps for Concordia I didn't even have. So yeah, we'll try out some more of that. But Concordia Solitaria, an official solo variant. Not just that, a way that you can play it as a team, 2-player cooperative against an AI opponent, and you can include the AI opponent in a competitive 2-player game to make it a 3-player game, tighten things up as well, because, yeah, even on those smaller maps, they're for 2/3 players, so I imagine if the bot Contrarius works well with in that versus mode, it'll be great for tightening up 2-player games even more, and Concordia was pretty fantastic as a 2-player game anyway. But yeah, it's an amazing solo mode. There's very little extra you need to know. A lot of it is on the cards themselves. You play a card, all of the cards are custom on the Solitaria expansion, and it says what your solo opponent is going to do if you play this card. Sometimes the decisions are based on dice. There is a little bit of a flowchart in him choosing where to build things. The die will tell you which resource building he's going to choose, and then there's a little flowchart that kind of narrows down his choices to one. So there's a little bit to learn in that, but generally, a lot of what you need to know is on the cards. When am I doing a live stream of Ark Nova with that handsome chap gaming rules? I think pretty soon. I think next week, maybe. I say maybe. I think we've said next week. We don't know when yet. Tune in next Monday, and you'll see us do that. And maybe we'll do some Concordia Solitaria at some point. Because yeah, there's Paul hasn't played the 2-player co-op yet. But yeah, there's going to be some more solo stuff as I show off. Like you can use it with the expansions and things. So yes, Concordia Solitaria. You can see a full solo game of that with, I think it's the Italia map, right? I just wanted to use stuff that was in the base game. So if you want to pick up just Concordia, the original box, and the Solitaria expansion, that's probably the map you'd use it on. But yes, you can check that out, and we'll see more of it in the new year, hopefully. Oh, look at that. The top 10s. Top 10 of 2021. So, yes, I did all of this triangle stuff. I was messing around with thumbnails for hours as well, trying to make the thumbnails well. I think it turned out well. There was another one as well where it's kind of in front of some of the words and behind the others. I really liked that. Rach usually gets final word on these things, though. And Rach said this was the best one. Thanks, B-Fisk. Thanks for joining me. Yes, I hope you join me more this year as well. And there'll be plenty to join on, I think. So yes, there's a top 10 of 2021. You can see what my top 10 picks on there. Yeah, there's a me and there's a static Tom over there. I should have Marty in there as well. There's a little secret little glass Marty. Why can I never work out mirror imaging? Because I'm looking at the camera viewfinder, which is not mirrored, and then this one that is mirrored. Yes. Why are we talking about that? Top 10 of 2021. And if that wasn't enough, the top 10 of 2021, part 2, Lost in New York. And yes, that is the Vicary's Big Night Out Front. I went to great lengths to find that out many years ago. Yes, you can see me talk about 20 games. I was going to do an expansions one as well, but I thought there's already been a lot in kind of quick succession. And there's a couple of key expansions that I want to play still. Like Card Kingdom, Valeria Card Kingdom's Darksworn, making Valeria Card Kingdom's co-op. I played the prototype when I did the playthrough for the Kickstarter, but I've got the final thing now, and I've also bought all of the other Valeria Card Kingdoms thing, which I didn't have 2 of the bigger expansions for it, and you can mix it all in. And the City of Crowns expansion for Paladins of the West Kingdom, I still haven't played yet, so there might be some top expansions business later on when I've played those things. But yeah, there are loads of top 10 things. So that's December stuff. And then I think coming up, so like I want to do there's a general highlights video I did with Paul and friends. But yeah, just some general 2021 stuff. I think that's coming up now. In case you might have missed some of it, these are just me scrolling through a spreadsheet of all the things that got done. I thought, yeah, I'd like to mention some of these things. As always, the Supermarket Sweep playthrough that Paul Grogan is a guest in, that I did on like the first anniversary of the channel. You should always check that out. And the video I made for the first GridCon. They're some of the best things that I've ever done. But some things, yes, I started doing live things in the last year. I've kind of done Q&As and stuff, but loads of live stuff. You'll see a bit about that in a minute. Loads of live stuff got done this year. And you can check out tons of games, me revisiting old things, me getting into Mage Knight again and trying to do it regularly and keep it in my head. I didn't manage to do that, but hopefully we'll do some more Mage Knight streams. And yeah, you can see some with like me playing Imperium against David Tortsey, me playing Mage Knight against Paul Grogan. They're in his regular everyday dress. Yeah, you can check out loads of live things, but some great guesty things as well. I haven't got just a individual thumbnail for this, but I did a few top 10s last year. I want to get back into the habit of doing them more often. Trying to keep up with doing them every month, I ended up getting kind of burnt out on them and not knowing where I was and losing confidence in the top 10s. I think there's a top 10 that never went live, actually. I need to go and look into that because, yeah, I remember scrolling through a thing and thinking, why is this not public? I think I only put it on Patreon and never made it live. It's a bit old now. I don't know if I would agree with it anymore. But yeah, it was the 5th anniversary of the channel in April, which is nearly a year ago. Okay, that's scary. So yeah, I did a top 10, like looking back on the last 5 years. I think that was a really good top 10, and it was live. It was a fun time. Paul, you're wearing the top hat right now. That's what we were. That's what had been suggested before. I'm glad to hear that it really is your everyday dress. There I am again. Yes, it was the 500th playthrough as well this year in around June, July time. I've done 500 of them and coming up to 600 very soon. There's been a lot of playthroughs in the last year. And yeah, playthrough 500 was Friends, the one with the apartment bet game. A classic board game that I think everyone is going to run out and buy after seeing the video. If you're into Friends, great. If you're not into Friends, here's how you can learn about a load of Friends. Forget about watching it. But yeah, we did a couple of goes through. It's basically a Friends trivia game. There's a little bit more to it, but not very much. It's kind of a Friends trivia game. And there's my sister Josie was the guest on there because yeah, she is the person that I know that would know the answers as much as I did. And who won? You can find out. Queen's Architect. I picked this out because there was a load of playthroughs with Rach as well, which she's appeared when she could throughout the history of the channel, but there was kind of a week when Rach was on where we did a load of live things, and Queen's Architect is one of her favourite games, and I think one of the most underrated games. I think I did a top 10 underrated games and it was on it. It's fantastic. It's strange to explain. You're trying to build things for the Queen. You've got these hexagonal workers that rotate as they're used, and their power kind of fluctuates as they're used. So sometimes you want to, you've got to line them up so you try and get the most efficiency out of them, but that might involve stopping off and going to the inn. Can you afford to make all of these stop-offs to earn more money and hire more people, or should you just be racing around trying to build things really quickly? It's a race game. But yeah, that's one of the many playthroughs I did with Rach, as well as the Role Player Adventure series that we're still doing, that you could check out. And this is another thing that was like, oh, I'll do more of this. We did a play along with Quacks of Quedlinburg where I was against the chat making decisions. It was Georgina, I believe, that was like the head of the chat, taking suggestions from everyone and deciding what to do. And yeah, there must be more games like this, more than Roll and Rights you could do like that, but there must be more games that I could think of that we could do this with. Because I meant to do more of that and haven't done one for ages. So you can see a kind of, not really a play along, a play against. We're playing against the audience with Quacks of Quedlinburg, the Herb Witches. And yes, that's it for that. So I've already gone into this video, so let's just say this now. Stuff that's coming up this week, that's the thing that I'm doing right now. Tomorrow night, I'll be doing Maracaibo Digital, that got delayed a bit from a couple of weeks ago. I will be starting out a solo campaign, and we'll see how I get on with that, because I've still not played the solo campaign of the base game. I've just played normal solo setup, so I've never experienced that campaign, and I would like to. And on Thursday, next week, Viscounts of the West Kingdom comes back to Kickstarter for 2 new expansions. I'm going to be doing a playthrough this Thursday night for the Gates of Gold expansion, and a playthrough next Thursday night of the Keeper of Keys expansion in their solo forms. And on Friday at 5, Rach and I will be returning after a few weeks break for Role Player Adventures again. There's Rach. There's Rach's hand. Marty will be expecting some treats now. Hi, Rach.
My hand appear.
It'll only appear if you go in front of the green screen.
Oh, hello.
There's like a circle cut out here where my hand disappears. There you go. Your hand's in. But yes, we will be back with some Role Player Adventures as well. So yeah, some really good things that you can check out from December and kind of 2021 in general. And a lot of Marty Cam. Before there was live, there wasn't really Marty Cam. You just had to wait for the times that he would jump on the table and not get edited out. I think there was like a little time where he was like, he used to be perched on the table all the time. But also, so yeah, I was talking about doing this thing before I started. Where is it? So the things that happened in 2021, where are they? I need to turn these pictures off. Yeah, Monty finally gets some scratches. He gets a lot of scratches. Oh, look how forlorn he looks now. Looks like he needs a back. So yeah, so the things that I did in 2021, I went back as well. Like, I got this nice spreadsheet. I'll tell you about this, Paul, if you're still there. If you want to work out how many hours you did of things, there's a way you can do it. It's a little bit long-winded, waiting for YouTube to come up with the info for you, but you can work it out. So, as a lover of stats, I enjoyed this. Like, in 2019, I haven't gone all the way back through, but there were 74 playthroughs and other things going on in that year. I did 74 playthroughs in 2019, and 9 top 10s, 11 overviews, 3 Q&As. It's like 124 hours of things. There's a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, you're a mod, Paul, aren't you? I was thinking, like, I need to get some mods in here for that kind of thing. On Twitch especially. Twitch it's harder for. So yeah, there was 124 hours of things. In 2020, I did 75 playthroughs. Pretty much the same thing. And like 2020, we moved. I broke my shoulder and couldn't make things for ages. And top 10s and overviews and Q&As and all that. It's kind of a thing that leads into, like, I'm not bragging because I don't know how many other people things made. It took me long enough to figure out how many things I made. So it's just a kind of thing, for me especially, to see that, like, I'm always worrying about, I'm not making enough stuff. There hasn't been enough things going out this week. I've thought this for like 5 years pretty much. And it's kind of because, you know, there are games that you get sent and people are waiting for you to do something with that thing. And so, yeah. It's easy to fall into like a trap of any spare moment that you get. You kind of think, well, you should be doing something. You should be making a video. But yeah, I need reminding. Remind me, please, that yeah, enough stuff is going out, and calm down about things, because yeah, when you see going overboard. So generally, about 74, 75 playthroughs a year, 141 hours in 2020. In 2021. I did 155 playthroughs. This is like the introduction of live stuff, and top 10s and overviews. I did 3 how to plays. Thanks, Alicat Games, for wanting me to do how to play things. Yes, so going from like 124 hours to 140 hours, this year there was 840 hours of stuff, which I was saying to Rach like a week ago when I was just looking at the number of videos that went up rather than the length of them, because we didn't know that then, that like, probably need to turn it down a bit this year, because that's too much stuff. That, like, I felt just as much that not enough stuff was getting made, and maybe a little more so. I felt that this year, and I don't know, like, when you're faced with numbers like that, how can you think that? Because there were double the playthroughs, and I thought that, oh no, there's no pre-recorded ones. I'm just doing live things now. There were as many recorded things. It's just there were like as many live on top. So basically double the stuff, and the live things are long and stuff. And yeah, hopefully calm down with the things and try and feel like, yeah, enough stuff is getting made, and stop being kind of panicked and hustling and just trying to do things every waking moment, because that can't lead to good things, can it? You got to have rests sometimes. You got to watch Get Back 3 or 4 times. I'm on watch number 3. It gets better every watch. So yeah, if you're into stats, there's some stats. What will be coming up though? So on Patreon every month, I do a vote for which playthroughs get done first. I know I'm never going to get to all of them that are going to be on this list. There is not enough time. And like a thing as well that I feel like I always kind of forget to say, and it's easy to kind of compare yourself as well to people that do it full time and like wanting to keep up and wanting to do as many videos as possible. And that's like, I do this more than I've ever done it now, but I still have another job that I do in the weekend. Like the aim is to try and stop doing this at like weekends and evenings, and try and have it as a kind of hour thing, and try and do it that way, try and limit it that way. But hey, I get carried away with things. What was my point? Things are coming up. Yes, so in January you can the point was, you can join me on Patreon. Every little helps. You don't have to go to any particular tier, but if you go to some tiers, you get votes and things. But yes, patreon.com/slickerdrips. You can join up. Please join up and help me to make things. And maybe we'll get to that magic, mystical number. I don't know what it is, but maybe I'll be doing this full time at some point. Hopefully, it's going that way. If you don't want to get involved with monthly stuff, you can go on Ko-fi.com/slickerdrips and chuck us a few quid. Chuck us a coffee if you'd like to. So yeah, the vote on Patreon every month. You can vote for what I will be doing playthroughs of first, what gets top priority, what gets top billing for the month, as well as, like, I did used to do this and then stopped when I didn't really make top 10s for ages, but I'm going to be bringing back some top 10s this year. So you'll get to vote on them as well. You join the Discord and see things early if they're recorded in there. Oh, you feel the same, Paul? Yeah, I think it's just like a thing, right? That especially like if you're kind of freelance or self-employed and stuff, it's easy to like fall into, like, the days when I'm here doing this, it's easy to fall into that trap of like you haven't been doing things every second you've been awake, whereas like if you had just a job with particular hours, you hopefully wouldn't be feeling that as much outside those hours. Yeah, that's another thing as well. That like generally there are people that put out a video like once a month or something like that. That's yeah, it's just my thing that I'm putting out so much. But hopefully, yeah, we'll calm it down and get to some balance. Because yeah, there's like things where I do a video, like 2 videos in a week, and think, why am I only doing 2 videos in a week? There's 7 days in this week. But yeah, even if I did 7 videos, like, you can't watch 7 massive videos every week, can you? But yeah, hopefully calm that down a bit. And yeah, the dream is to like turn down the quantity a little bit and up the quality of things. Have more time to kind of practice and get straight with the game. Set up all of the stream stuff, because it does take like a long time. It's like, I know when I changed, like, I've changed all of the background and all of the things for this stream, so that took a little while. But even just getting all the camera angles for a playthrough, it takes a surprising amount of time. And yeah, like doing the first impressions of things, I don't think I'll do them for every single video anymore. Still try and do a good amount of them, or just say what I think in the live streams and stuff. But yeah, feel less hopeful. The aim for 2022 is well, that light just went super bright for no reason. Why am I blind all of a sudden? Yeah, the aims for 2022. Get to a more reasonable amount of stuff made. Get 200 people is the goal, right, Joel? For Patreon, hopefully. I don't know if it would happen in 2022, but do this full time. And yeah, have a bit more polish and time to make things. And some of that is on me, though. As I said, trying to rush stuff and do more stuff than is reasonable. Hi, Mark. How's it going? Oh, thanks, Michael. Yeah, I hope that, like, so sometimes things have been done in a bit of a rush, and like I've tried to be more kind of honest about a couple of things, like with Keyper, and there was another game I did it with where the stream is me learning the thing as well, because yeah, I haven't had time. Like it takes a long time to learn all of this stuff and get good enough at it that hopefully you're showing off all of the different bits, and that, like, especially like in a 2-player playthrough, that both of the players are doing things that normal players might do. You know, it takes ages to talk Little Glass Marty into doing things. Oh, thanks for being here, Paul. Paul will be unboxing very, very shortly. But yes, with all that said, yes, it's appeared. There it is. Let's talk about the vote in a second, because I always forget to do this. I should be saying this all of the time. This shirt and the mug and all sorts of other designs are available on sirmeeple.com. Now, it is a kind of, it's a way to support the channel. Like, a bit of the money comes to me. Most of it goes to the manufacturers of the things. But if you would like shirts or a mug or a hoodie as well, there is a hoodie on there. Yeah, you can check out sirmeeple.com, and I'm at the top. You click creators and then slickerdrips, and I'm in there. sirmeeple.com/collections/slickerdrips, and all of my stuff is in there. Tim at Sir Meeple has, Rach drew the Martys, of course, but Tim has come up with some great designs, I think, and has teased that there may be more in the future. So yeah, shout out for, that's another highlight of 2021. Tim getting in touch and coming up with all of this stuff for me, because it's great, I think. So, the January vote. If you're at the voter level or above on Patreon, then you can vote at what you would like to see the most out of these games this month. And they will be Ark Nova. So what do I know about this? Zoo Tycoon, their heavy board game. People have been comparing it a lot to Terraforming Mars, and then other people have been telling people to stop comparing it to Terraforming Mars because it's not like that. This is literally like these like frustrating to people like Luke on the live stream that haven't been able to get a hold of a copy. I got a copy just before Christmas, and then I haven't had time to play anything over Christmas with traveling about and seeing people and that. So yeah, I haven't played it. It's still in the box. So Ark Nova, I feel like, is it like the biggest game of Essen 2021? I think so. Wasn't it? Like, Paul's gone, so we can't ask him. But I think it was Luke's top of 2021. I think it was Paul's, or it was high up at least. If it wasn't one, it was close. So yeah, it's a pretty good thing. And yeah, I would like when I think of zoo-based games, video games, we've got Zoo Tycoon. We've got the old ones at least. But board games, Zoo Loretto. I think got Baron Park, of course, if you're just looking for a specific type of zoo. But yeah, the Zoo Loretto, which is a great light game, and the roll and write is very good as well. But yeah, looking forward to a kind of meatier zooing experience. Are you still here, Paul? The number one hit from Essen. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I feel like if I was to make a little bet, I feel like that will win the vote out of all of the other things. But hey, I'm often surprised with what happens in these. Golem and Ark Nova are the two games everyone is talking about. Oh yeah, Golem as well. I'm pleased to see people talking about it. I did playthroughs for those in. I did a 2-player and a solo of Golem in 2021 that you can check out, and I might like that might be a good live stream in the future as well, to because the solo mode is great how it works, but I feel like I had it on too easy mode. The normal difficulty is too easy, and I feel like a harder difficulty would be a better experience, a better thing to watch than the easy one I had. Don't forget to let you know when next week I'm teaching you. Yes, we'll sort that out, Paul. And I'll tell you about this spreadsheet as well. But generally, yeah, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday would be the best for me. They are the days when I will be here, generally ready to do something. So it's up for Paul, just trying to catch up with everything that I've missed. So, Michael, you like the Learn As You Go videos? Oh, that's good. It's like I think they get. I don't think they get fewer viewers for having that learn thing in there. I try and put in a timestamp as well, so if you just want to get to the point where I started the game, you can get to it. Because yeah, it's a lot less pressure to kind of admit that I don't know this game yet, and kind of you can see how I learn it and point out when I'm getting it wrong, which might be often. Gary, I really enjoy the videos. Just jumped on Patreon. Oh, thanks, Gary. Nothing comes up on here when I'm just in streaming mode. Or I would thank you straight away, but thank you very, very much for joining up. You're making this happen. All of these games that might happen, more of them might happen. Yeah, thank you very, very much. Next up is Boonlake. I've already clicked it. I meant to make it happen when I said it. This is another. It's another heavy hitter from Essen 2021 because of the pedigree of the designer. Great Western Trail, Maracaibo's own Alexander Pfister. I know he's designed a million games other than those. I don't really know much beyond that. It is another, he's put in a solo mode, he's put in a campaign mode way of playing it. That's, his campaigns as well. If Maracaibo is anything to go by, his campaigns have come a long way since the just a couple of rules things of something like Blackout Hong Kong. They have expanded and got a lot better since then. Just another long, meaty Euro from Alexander Pfister. Would you like to see some Boonlake? Next up, we've got Obsession. So not a brand new release. If Board Game Geek is to be believed, this is from 2018. So that means I've been hearing about it for over 3 years. Of people saying how good this game is. But generally, the times when I have seen people say how good the game is, I haven't been able to get it. It's been very scarce and hard to get, but after Kickstarter campaigns, expansions and things, as a second printing has kind of come through in waves, and again, I've missed out again and again. I finally got it. I finally got Obsession and all of it. My pre-order from Games Law. Other shops are available, but hey, Games Law came through for me on this. Yeah, I have all of the things. I have played 1 2-player game of Obsession so far. Yesterday with Rach, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I think that there was a lot of learning. Most of the playtime was kind of learning it and going through the rulebook. I think it's another one where there's a lot of things for it to tell you, but generally the game is much simpler than the rulebook would have you believe. And yeah, it's got some deck building elements in there. It's got some not really tile laying. It doesn't matter where the tiles are. You're getting new buildings. You're renovating buildings in your Victorian estate to hold events there, to hold happenings there, and invite all of these various gentry. It's a Jane Austen kind of theme. But yeah, it works really, really well. I can see why people are so enamored with it. I haven't tried the solo yet. I know that there's a solo mode in the base game. There's a more dynamic solo mode included in the expansion. I've kind of left all of the expansion stuff in its box for now. So this will just be for base solo Obsession. There's like an extra family that I've put in the box, and there's a few more cards and things. But generally, this is for just normal Obsession. Would you like to see a playthrough for Obsession? And generally, I'll say this as well, like if you are, I'll try and remember to put this in the post as well. If you're voting on Patreon, then you can vote for as many things as you like. You don't have to just vote for one. So Obsession, Origins First Builders, is one of 2 games from Board and Dice that I've just got. This is a lighter game that I believe. A dice placement game where we are these space-agey First Builders. I mean, look at the components. It looks pretty special from that. I'm looking at the kind of delayed, the delayed version that's over on that screen. And yeah, we are starting off very limited with a couple of tiles and a couple of abilities, and then building up our tableaus as we build our spacey cities. And also from Board and Dice, Danielle Tashini, who designed... I can't think of the games now for some reason. Why can't I say it? Teotihuacan. I learned so long how to pronounce it. And David Spader co-designed this. I just know meaty big Euro solo mode, I believe, right, by David Turtzi. Am I right in thinking that? You can check out Board Game Ramblings review of it and Paul's tutorial playthrough. But hey, don't fill up on them. Save time for me. I think have I just guessed that? I think that David did the solo mode for it. But even if not, hey, big meaty Euro T game from Board and Dice. Brian Boru is a game that, yeah, usually would not be my cup of tea at all. Kind of, it's got a 3-player minimum on it. It's area control and all of that kind of stuff. There's a bit of meanness involved in jostling for control of these things. But I should have double checked this if I hadn't spent so much time working out how many hours I've been doing things. But yeah, I spent 2 hours today working out how many hours I've done things. I think it's released, right? Ricky Royal has been working on a solo mode for the game that may not be out yet. Maybe he's just been talking about it. But that's kind of what, it turned up, and thank you very much, Osprey Games, for sending it me. But it turned up, and I thought, 3-player minimum, we can't play this. But yeah, Ricky, kind of one of the gurus, one of the luminaries of solo gaming, he taught me Mage Knight. Well, his videos did. He didn't personally, but I'm sure he would have if I'd asked. Maybe not. He wouldn't have known me then. But yes, I think Ricky Royal has come up with a solo mode for it, which sounds pretty exciting to me. So if he has, and I haven't made that up, and it's available to do, and you would like to see it, there'll be a solo video coming for Brian Boru. Because this is a game as well that people that are into that kind of thing, it's been like their game of 2021. It's gotten some very high praise indeed. So yeah, I am keen to see if I can experience some of that in Ricky's solo variant, if I haven't just made the entire thing up there. Don't base votes. Don't base portions of your video on things that you fleetingly saw on Twitter a couple of times. And Valeria Card Kingdoms Darksworn. So I mentioned this a bit earlier, that Valeria Card Kingdoms, I've done a couple of playthroughs for it now. It's a Machikoro kind of game. You've got cards in front of you that will activate based on... We roll some dice at the start of every turn, whether it's your turn or not. And if you've got those numbers, if those numbers come up, you get resources and things. Different resources depending on whether it's your turn or not. And with those resources, you will buy more cards. Do you want to diversify, have more numbers so you've got more chance of getting something every turn? Or do you want to really hone in on popular numbers so you'll get tons of stuff if like a 7 comes up, for example? It's the pinnacle of that, although I can't seem to move away from the term Machikoro games. It is the best. They should be called Valeria Card Kingdoms kind of games. But yeah, it is definitely my favourite. And that's kind of just based on the base game and the Fire and Ice expansion. Is it Frost and Flames expansion? Is the first one that just added a few more cards. There are 2 expansions that I've never played that I've since got, because I've got... It's behind a chair and a pile of games and stuff, but I've got the new big box and the Darksworn expansion, which turns the whole thing into a co-op experience. And you can see in my playthrough of the prototype of just the first scenario, I think, it does it so well. We love co-op games, so when games that we already love have a fantastic co-op mode introduced, hello Orlean, then yeah, it's a massive boon for us. And Darksworn from its prototype was absolutely fantastic. I would love to go back in and play some more Darksworn, and I've got all of this extra stuff now that I'm pretty sure can all be mixed in. So yeah, if you would like to see some Darksworn, vote for some Darksworn. So there we go. There are a couple of things that I've got that I've picked up from kind of older things that I'm leaving off the vote for now. Because, yeah, they might get overshadowed. There won't be time to do them all. So they are kind of moved on to the February vote, and we'll see how they get on. But yes, I will be making that post. I wasn't as organised because I was doing all of that spreadsheet nonsense today. But yeah, I will be making a post as soon as I go off here in a few minutes. And yeah, you can vote for it there over on patreon.com/slickerdrips. Hey, Dice Hand. Happy New Year. You're enjoying the content a lot. Oh, thank you. I hope I will keep it up and have it even better this year. YouTube is not my main... Well, it's kind of 50-50, my main job. It used to be just a thing I did at weekends and evenings, and kind of still is. But I do have a couple of days a week where I am just here doing this. Today was one of them. But yeah, I have another job as well. So I'm part-time, kind of at both at this point. But hopefully, with the support of all of the patrons, and hey, if I will just keep saying it every opportunity, this is a nice chance to say, patreon.com/slickerdrips. Every little helps, and it makes everything that I do now, makes me be able to be here a couple of days a week. But yeah, it will be great to do it all the time, wouldn't it? And that is kind of the dream, the goal, eventually. But yes, it is kind of... It's tying for my main job, at least. So there we go. That is a look back at December and kind of 2021 as a whole, and looking forward into 2022. As always, so talk about, there's votes on Patreon and all of that stuff, and you can join the Discord, and we have a nice chat about things there. But in all avenues, I'm not on social media as much, but I am still there. See the notification stuff. I will reply stuff. But if you, I would like to know more about what people like to see. It's great to see feedback of liking the learn to play videos, or the live ones, or the pre-recorded ones and stuff. Because yeah, it's kind of a scattergun approach of just making as much as I can. And I know that generally, if you don't hear anything, that it probably means that people are happy with with the status quo. But yeah, let me know what you're into, what you'd like to see me do, games you'd like to see me pick up, or if you would like to see more top 10s, more campaigns, whatever it is you would like to see, more Little Glass Marty, whatever it is you would like to see, let me know, and yeah, we can make it happen. But for now, some cars skidding outside. For now, I will leave you. I will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. GMT for some Maracaibo Digital. I've been playing it since the last one was delayed. I've been playing it offline and really enjoying the digital implementation of it. It's a fantastic medium kind of heavy Euro game anyway that I missed out on at the time, and thankfully the Patreon voters said, you know, I did a top 10, didn't I, of 2019 last year, and the comments overwhelmingly, you've missed Maracaibo, you've really missed out on here, and everyone that said that, you were right, I did miss out on it, it's great, but yes, hopefully I will get onto it might just be a normal solo game, it might be the campaign, we'll see how much time we have and what happens. But there'll be some Maracaibo Digital tomorrow at 8 p.m. Thursday, the brand new expansion for Viscounts of the West Kingdom, one of them, Gates of Gold. It's coming onto Kickstarter next week. I'm doing a solo playthrough this Thursday at 8 p.m. GMT, and on Friday at 5 p.m. I'll be here with Rach for the continuing story of our role-player adventures, and then back next week for some more stuff. Thank you very much for being here with me and for chatting and for seeing all of that stuff as well for 2021. Whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, all of your likes and follows and subscribes and everything have really helped out, and it's been lovely to have you around. Hopefully you'll stick around and watch some of this stuff for 2022, and let's make this the best year of Slickerdrips. Marty agrees, right, Marty? I couldn't care less. Thank you very much for being here, everyone. And I will see you, hopefully, tomorrow. I'm sure if not, very, very soon. If you can't join me for any of this live stuff, it's all on the channel. You can watch it at any point in the future. Thank you very, very much, everyone. And I will see you soon. Bye.